back to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be taking a deep dive into a topic you might not expect.
Oh.
Acupuncture for dogs.
Wow.
Specifically for your Cane Corso.
Okay.
We received a request from one of you guys to learn more about this alternative therapy.
Interesting.
And honestly, I was fascinated too.
Yeah, it's definitely gaining traction in veterinary medicine these days.
Right. It might seem a little out there at first.
I can see that.
But that's what we love to do here. Explore the unexpected.
Right.
Plus, I know you're dedicated to giving your furry friend the best possible care.
Of course.
And get this, acupuncture can help with everything from pain management
Wow.
to digestive issues in dogs.
Really?
Some dogs even find the sessions so relaxing they fall asleep.
I can believe that.
To guide us through this fascinating world, we have an expert in both veterinary medicine and the alternative therapies,
Oh, wow.
which makes them the perfect person to unpack this for us.
Thanks. I'm happy to be here.
Okay, let's start with the basics. What exactly is veterinary acupuncture? I mean, it's hard to imagine those tiny needles on a big, powerful Cane Corso.
Yeah, it is a unique image,
Right.
but those needles are incredibly thin.
Okay.
The practice itself comes from traditional Chinese medicine
Right.
and focuses on the concept of qi, which is essentially the flow of energy throughout the body,
Okay.
by stimulating specific points along energy pathways called acupoints. The goal is to restore balance and promote healing.
So there's a real method to it.
Yeah.
Not just randomly placing needles.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
While the concept of qi might seem a bit mystical, Western science is starting to understand how acupuncture works on a physiological level.
Okay.
Research shows that stimulating acupoints actually triggers the release of endorphins,
Oh, wow.
your dog's natural painkillers.
That's amazing. I never would have imagined.
Yeah, that's cool.
So that endorphin release could be why some dogs find it so relaxing.
It's possible.
I read some even fall asleep during their sessions.
While we can't know for sure what's going on in their minds, the relaxation we observe does suggest a comfortable, possibly even pleasant experience.
Uh-huh.
And yes, those endorphins are likely contributing to that relaxed state.
Okay, so it's not voodoo.
No, not at all.
And might even be like a spa day for your pup.
Uh-huh. Exactly.
But let's get practical.
Okay.
What kinds of conditions can acupuncture actually help with, especially for a Cane Corso?
Well, think about what large breed dogs are prone to.
Okay.
Hip dysplasia, arthritis, muscle strains.
Yeah.
Acupuncture can be used to manage pain associated with all those things.
Oh, wow.
And it can be especially helpful for a Cane Corso as they are susceptible to joint issues, right?
Absolutely. And the source material also mentions it can help with digestive issues, respiratory problems,
Yes.
and even skin conditions like allergic dermatitis. So it really is a whole body approach.
That's right.
That's incredible.
It can also be used alongside conventional treatments, like if your Cane Corso is being treated for something serious,
Oh,
like intervertebral disc disease or even cancer.
wow.
Acupuncture can help manage the pain and discomfort that comes with those conditions.
So it's not about choosing one over the other. It's
Yeah.
about integrating different approaches for the best outcome.
Exactly.
I love that.
It's about a holistic approach.
Okay, so let's say a Cane Corso owner is intrigued and wants to try it.
Okay.
What can they expect during an actual acupuncture session?
The first step is a thorough examination by a veterinarian who is trained in traditional Chinese veterinary medicine
Okay.
or is certified in veterinary acupuncture.
All right.
This is crucial to determine if acupuncture is appropriate for your dog's specific condition.
It's important to make sure it's the right approach. So what happens during the session itself?
The vet will insert those very thin needles into specific acupoints.
Okay.
And as I mentioned, most dogs tolerate this really well.
Okay.
The needles are typically left in for about 10 to 30 minutes.
So not a quick in and out kind of thing? What about the frequency of the sessions? How often would a Cane Corso typically need to go?
That depends on the individual dog and their condition. But typically we might start with 1 to 2 sessions per week.
Got it. Now, with any medical procedure, there are potential risks.
Of course.
What should Cane Corso owners be aware of with acupuncture?
You're right. It's essential to be informed.
Yeah.
While acupuncture is generally considered safe, especially when performed by a qualified professional,
Uh-huh.
there are some potential side effects.
Okay.
Some dogs might experience mild soreness at the needle sites,
That makes sense.
which usually resolves quickly.
There are tiny holes being made after all.
Right.
Yeah.
And some dogs might feel a bit tired or sleepy after the session.
Okay.
This is normal and usually passes within a day or two.
Right.
There are also a few cases where acupuncture is not recommended.
Okay.
Like if your dog has a bleeding disorder or an active infection.
Makes sense.
There are specific acupoints we avoid in pregnant dogs too. It's all about careful assessment and a personalized treatment plan.
Which brings us to the big question.
What's that?
How do you find a qualified veterinary acupuncturist, especially one who has experience with large breeds like Cane Corsos?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
It really is essential to do your research and find a veterinarian with the right credentials and experience.
Okay.
A good place to start is by looking for a certified veterinary acupuncturist.
So there's actually a specific certification for this.
Yes, there is.
That's reassuring.
The CVA certification signifies that the veterinarian has completed rigorous training in veterinary acupuncture.
Wow.
Another excellent resource is the International Veterinary Acupuncture Society, or IVS.
Okay.
They offer training programs, and their website can help you find qualified practitioners in your area.
Okay, that's super helpful.
Yeah, I hope so.
So if you're considering this for your Cane Corso talk to your regular vet, they may offer acupuncture services themselves or have recommendations. But always check the vet's credentials and experience, especially with large breeds.
Absolutely.
And don't hesitate to schedule a consultation to discuss your Cane Corso's specific needs.
That's a good idea.
It's all about being informed, right?
You are your dog's advocate.
Exactly.
The more you know, the better equipped you'll be to make the best decisions for your furry friend.
So we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
But before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to touch on a few final thoughts and considerations.
Okay.
First and foremost, and I know you've mentioned this,
Yeah.
but it's worth reiterating.
What's that?
Acupuncture is not a magic cure-all.
Right. It's important to manage expectations.
Yeah.
Acupuncture is most effective when it's part of a holistic approach to your Cane Corso's well-being.
So we're still talking regular vet care, good nutrition, exercise, all the important things.
Exactly. It's about creating a supportive environment for their overall health.
And it's also important to remember that every dog is different.
Very true.
What works for one Cane Corso might not have the same effect on another.
That's very true. Individual responses can vary.
Right.
Some dogs see dramatic improvement while others have more subtle benefits.
Yeah.
It's crucial to monitor your dog's progress and communicate openly with your veterinarian.
Absolutely.
They can help you assess whether acupuncture is a good fit for your Cane Corso and adjust the treatment as needed.
So patience is key, especially when we're talking about chronic conditions, right?
Absolutely. It often takes multiple sessions to see significant results.
Okay.
It's not an overnight fix.
But the potential benefits for your Cane Corso's quality of life could be huge.
Definitely.
Reduced pain, improved mobility,
Yeah.
even better digestion or allergy relief.
Absolutely.
Imagine that for your furry friend.
Exactly. And isn't that what we all want for them?
Yeah.
A happy, healthy life.
I think that's a great place to pause for now.
Sounds good.
We've given our listeners a lot to consider about veterinary acupuncture, what it is, how it works, and what it can do for their Cane Corso.
It's a good start.
But there's more to explore, so stay tuned for part 2 of this deep dive.
Looking forward to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really rewarding to see those positive changes.
And I think this highlights something really important.
Oh,
Taking a holistic approach to our dog's health.
right.
It's not just about treating symptoms, but considering their physical, emotional, even environmental well-being.
Yeah, I agree.
It seems like acupuncture really embodies that philosophy.
I agree. It's about seeing the whole picture, not just isolated parts.
Yeah.
And I think this resonates with a lot of Cane Corso owners.
Yeah.
These dogs are known for their intelligence and sensitivity.
Uh-huh.
So their well-being is definitely influenced by a variety of factors.
That makes sense. So let's say a Cane Corso owner decides to try acupuncture.
Yeah.
What are some questions they should ask during that initial consultation with the vet?
First and foremost, I'd encourage them to be open about their dog's health history.
Okay.
Any medications they're taking, and of course, any concerns they have. It's also important to ask about the vet's experience,
Yeah.
especially with large breeds like Cane Corsos.
Because a Chihuahua and a Cane Corso are on totally different levels, right?
Exactly. Size is one thing, but different breeds can also be predisposed to certain conditions.
Right.
An experienced veterinary acupuncturist will be aware of those nuances.
Okay.
It's also perfectly fine to ask about their training and certification.
Yeah.
You want to make sure they have the expertise to treat your Cane Corso.
Right. You want the best for your furry friend.
Absolutely.
What about questions related to specific conditions?
Absolutely. If your Cane Corso has hip dysplasia, for example, ask how acupuncture might be incorporated into their overall treatment plan.
All right.
And don't hesitate to discuss your expectations or concerns about the whole process.
It's all about open communication with both your vet and with your dog.
I couldn't agree more. Remember, you're your dog's advocate.
Exactly.
The more informed you are, the better you'll be able to make decisions for their well-being.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation.
It has been, hasn't it?
I'm realizing how much there is to know about a subject I barely knew existed before. I think we've covered a ton of ground here.
We have.
The basics of veterinary acupuncture, the potential benefits finding a qualified practitioner,
Yeah.
and what to expect during a session.
Right.
I almost want to book an appointment for myself. Maybe they do human acupuncture too.
You never know.
But speaking of appointments, before we move on, I think it's important to emphasize patience when it comes to acupuncture.
Oh, right. It's not an instant fix, is it?
Not usually, especially for chronic conditions. It often takes several sessions to see results.
Right.
It's a process.
It is.
So in a way, it's like physical therapy for us.
Yeah.
You might not notice a huge difference after one session,
Right.
but over time, with consistent treatment, you start to see improvement.
That's a great analogy. And just like with physical therapy, consistency is key.
Yeah.
Sticking to the recommended treatment plan and talking with the vet about your dog's progress will help get the best possible outcome.
And that outcome, ideally, is a happier, healthier Cane Corso.
I hope so.
Less pain, more mobility, maybe even a little extra pep in their step.
Exactly. Isn't that what we all want for our furry friends?
I think we've equipped our listeners with a really solid understanding of veterinary acupuncture for Cane Corsos.
I hope so.
But I always like to leave our listeners with something extra to think about, something that goes a bit beyond what we've already discussed.
I'm all ears.
Well, we've talked about the physical benefits of acupuncture,
Yeah.
and you've brought up the importance of a holistic approach,
Uh-huh.
considering emotional and environmental well-being too.
Right.
But here's a thought.
Okay.
What if acupuncture could actually deepen the bond between a Cane Corso and their owner?
That's a very interesting idea.
Think about it. You're taking the time to give your dog this unique care,
Okay.
something that's meant to improve their well-being.
Right.
You're right there with them during the sessions, seeing how they respond, maybe even offering some quiet reassurance.
And you're actively looking for alternative therapies,
Uh-huh.
going above and beyond for their comfort and happiness.
Exactly. It's a real display of love and commitment,
Yeah.
a way of saying, I'm here for you through thick and thin.
I love that.
And I wonder if on some level dogs can feel that.
It's possible.
Maybe this shared experience, the focused attention and care, actually strengthens the bond between a Cane Corso and their owner.
It's a beautiful thought, and I think it's worth exploring further.
Me too. It really speaks to the power of the human-animal connection
Yeah.
and the impact we can have on our dogs' lives, not just physically, but emotionally as well.
It's a reminder that our pets are much more than just animals,
Right.
family.
They really are. And thinking about this in the context of the Cane Corso,
Yeah.
a breed known for loyalty and protectiveness,
Uh-huh.
it makes you wonder,
About what?
well, given their guarding instincts,
Uh-huh.
could the presence of a stranger, even a kind and gentle vet, affect their response to the treatment?
That's a great point. It's certainly something to consider.
Right. Could their natural instinct to protect their owner actually interfere with their ability to relax and benefit from the session?
It's definitely possible. Just like people, dogs have individual sensitivities and comfort levels.
Exactly. And respecting those individual needs is so important when it comes to creating a positive experience for them.
I could agree more. Building trust and ensuring the dog feels safe is essential for any type of treatment,
Yeah.
especially one like acupuncture where relaxation is key.
This has been such a fascinating deep dive into canine acupuncture. And now for the final part of our exploration, we're going to shift gears slightly
All right.
and delve into some practical advice for anyone considering this therapy for their Cane Corso. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into canine acupuncture for Cane Corsos. I'm so glad you stuck with us through this exploration.
It's been my pleasure.
So far, we've covered the what, the why, and even the who of canine acupuncture.
We have.
Now let's dive into the how.
Okay.
Those practical steps you can take if you're considering this for your Cane Corso.
Sounds good to me.
First things first, remember we talked about finding a qualified vet who's experienced with large breeds.
Right.
Once you've found someone, what should you expect at that initial consultation?
Well, that first visit is all about getting to know your dog and understanding their individual needs.
Okay.
The vet will likely ask about their health history,
Right.
any current medications, and, of course, the specific issues you're hoping to address with acupuncture.
So just like a regular vet visit, but with a focus on acupuncture.
Exactly. And this is your chance to ask all those questions you've been thinking about.
Right.
Don't be shy.
Yeah.
The more information you share, the better the vet can tailor the treatment to your Cane Corso.
What kind of questions should owners be asking?
We'll start with the basics. How long have they been practicing veterinary acupuncture?
Okay.
Do they have experience with large breeds? What kind of results have they seen with similar cases?
Makes sense. You want to feel confident in their expertise, especially with a powerful breed like a Cane Corso.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to get specific if your dog has hip dysplasia. Ask about their approach to pain management.
Okay.
If they have digestive issues, inquire about how acupuncture might help regulate their system.
So it's really about having an open conversation.
Yes.
And making sure you're comfortable with the vet and their approach.
Exactly. And remember, you're not obligated to move forward with treatment if you have any doubts.
Right.
Trust your gut feeling. It's important for both you and your dog to feel at ease with the process.
That's such great advice. Now, let's say you decide to go ahead with acupuncture.
Okay.
What can you do to help prepare your Cane Corso for their first session?
That's a great question, since Cane Corsos can be protective.
Yeah.
It's crucial to make them feel as comfortable and safe as possible.
Okay.
Start by familiarizing them with the vet's office.
Okay.
If possible, take them for a few short visits beforehand, just to sniff around and get used to the environment.
Right. So they don't associate the vet only with needles.
Exactly. You can also practice handling their paws and legs at home,
Okay.
gently touching the areas where needles might be inserted.
Right.
This can help desensitize them to touch in those areas.
That's a smart tip. Any other advice for creating a calm and positive experience?
Bring along their favorite blanket or toy.
Okay.
Anything that brings them comfort and helps them relax.
Right.
And remember, Cane Corsos are incredibly perceptive. Your own energy and demeanor will directly impact their mood.
It's like with kids.
Exactly.
Like can sense when we're anxious.
Stay relaxed and positive.
Right.
And they'll pick up on those cues.
And don't underestimate the power of praise and treats.
Oh, absolutely.
Positive reinforcement goes a long way in creating a positive association with acupuncture.
For sure.
This has been such a helpful and informative deep dive. I feel like I've learned so much about canine acupuncture and how it can benefit Cane Corsos.
It's been my pleasure sharing my knowledge and experience. It's always rewarding to see owners empowered to make informed decisions about their dog's well-being.
And now for our listeners out there who've joined us on this journey,
Yes?
we want to hear from you.
Let us know.
What stood out to you as most interesting or surprising about canine acupuncture?
All right.
What questions are still swirling in your mind? Let us know in the comments.
Good idea.
And perhaps your curiosity will spark our next deep dive.
I always enjoy hearing from our listeners and learning from their perspectives.
And remember, whether you choose to explore acupuncture or other alternative therapies, the most important thing is to approach your Cane Corso's health with an open mind and a loving heart. Their well-being is a reflection of the care and attention you provide, and their unwavering loyalty makes it all worthwhile. Keep those tails wagging, keep those minds curious, and we'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.